Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. This is our first Between the Pages episode back since the end of October. Um, we were waiting a long time, mostly for my PC parts to get in. And now that they're finally in and they're all assembled, I have to finish getting it all set up. And we're still streaming on my old setup, so if it crashes, I apologize in advance, but we're just here because I missed you guys and there was some sort of rioting going on because I wasn't using my camera, and apparently that's a big problem for you. I'm gonna say you all, but maybe not you all. Maybe you guys don't care. But yeah, I had a lot of complaints that I wasn't using my camera, and it was only because that my computer cannot handle streaming, and that's why I have the new PC. So you're not weird at all, Thorsenheim. All right, so yes, welcome in to Between the Pages, episode 11. We are going to be reviewing Cold Days and Skin Game. With me today is Thorsenheim and Masamune. They're going to be interjecting every now and then on interesting information and tidbits that I may not personally know, but it's going to be me talking to you about the synopsis. Here in the beginning, I'm going to give you the spoiler free synopses of both books, and then I will get into the more in depth details of each book and the interesting things that I thought about while I was reading. Hold on. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. All right, so first up is Jim Butcher's Cold Days, number 14 in the Harry Dresden Files series. Um, we are now at 17. I have yet to read the final two, but I will get on that, I promise. Alright, so the spoiler free synopsis for Cold Days. This comes from Goodreads, by the way. Both of the spoiler free synopses comes from Goodreads. You can't keep a good wizard down, even when he wants to stay that way. For years, Harry Dresden has been Chicago's only professional wizard, but a bargain made in desperation with the Queen of Air and Darkness has forced him into a new job: professional killer. Mab, the mother of wicked fairies, has restored the most deadly wizard to health and dispatches him upon his first mission, to bring death to an immortal. Even as he grapples with the impossible task, Dresden learns of a looming danger to Demon Reach, the living island hidden upon Lake Michigan, a place whose true purpose and dark potential have the potential to destroy billions and to land Dresden in the deepest trouble he has ever known, even deeper than being dead. How messed up is that? Beset by his new enemies and hounded by the old, Dresden has only 24 hours to reconnect with his old allies, prevent a cataclysm, and do the impossible, uh, all while the power he bargained to get but never meant to keep lays siege to his very soul. Magic, and can get a guy killed. Ugh. I think that's an excellent synopsis of the book. So, it doesn't give away too much, but it gives you the, I'm going to go with feeling of the book, atmosphere of it. It's really great. Oh my god. I'm sorry, my nose really itches. Ah. Anyway, moving on. So, spoiler free synopsis of Skin Game. Harry Dresden, Chicago's only professional wizard, is about to have a very bad day. Because as Winter Knight to the Queen of Air and Darkness, Harry never knows what the scheming Mab might want from him to do. Usually it's something awful. And he doesn't know the half of it. Mab has just traded Harry's skills to pay off one of her debts, and now he must help a group of supernatural villains led by one of Harry's most dreaded and despised enemies, Nicodemus Arcleone, to break into the highest security vault in town so that they can access the highest security vault in the Never Never. It's a smash and grab job to recover the literal Holy Grail from the vaults of the greatest treasure hoard in the supernatural world, which belongs to the one and only Hades, lord of the freaking underworld and generally unpleasant character. Worse, Dresden suspects that there is another game afoot that no one is talking about, And he's dead certain that Nicodemus has no intention of allowing any of his crew to survive the experience, especially Harry. Dresden's always been tricky, but he's going to have to up his backstabbing game to survive this mess, assuming his own allies don't end up killing him before the enemies get the chance. Ugh. Yes, these two books were fucking amazing. I loved them. Sorry, censorship. I don't know if my editor is gonna kill me or not, but he's up to it. Yes. The two books that I got to review and cover in the past month and a half. Yes, I know I've been slacking. I've really enjoyed them. You guys know that I love the Harry Dresden series. They have so many elements that touch on so many different cultures, different historical points, and even like more contemporary works, which I'm going to get into in the spoiler edition of my review. So, spoiler alert, if you would like to remain unadulterated, we're going to say that, in your reading of Cold Days or Skin Game by Jim Butcher, please either mute this now or I will see you next time. But we're going to get into the spoiler edition of this. From this point forward, the discussion will contain details of each book. So, I will see anyone who wants to remain unspoiled later. For the rest of you, let's get on. And Toes, yes, I see that you're here. Thank you. All right, so Cold Days, number 14. As the story begins, Harry is in Arctis Tour, where he is nursed back to health by Sarissa, a member of the Winter Court and some servant of Queen Mab. His recovery culminates in a Winter Court party. That's fun. Serving both as an introduction of the new Winter Night and as Harry's surprise birthday party. Harry was born on Halloween night, by the way. During the party, he is set up by Maeve, the Winter Lady, Mab's daughter, who sets a number of events in motion in an attempt to kill him. With help from Sarissa and advice from Kris Kringle, he defeats Maeve's minions and asserts himself as the Winter Knight before the entire Winter Court. Mab, quite satisfied at this outcome, gives Harry his first mission as the new Winter Knight: kill Maeve. This synopsis, or this aspect of the synopsis, leaves out a couple of details that I wanted to mention. Firstly, the character of Cat Sith is not mentioned at all in this particular synopsis, and I was rather disturbed. So I wanted to mention him. Cat Sith, who in this story was obscenely powerful, and Dresden's fearfully respectful of him as the king of the Malks. Malks were basically supernatural. I don't even know how to describe them. They were just like demons that were super powerful and could basically do anything the hell they wanted. And Cat Sith is the king of them. So, they're powerful supernatural creatures. That's all I got for you. However, the Celtic people used to believe that this cat called the Cat Sith, which translates into the fairy cat. The cat took the shape of a black cat that was the size of a dog with a white spot on its chest. In most of the stories, they were almost feared by the people, but there were some stories where they brought good fortune to the people. Specifically, there were stories of Malk's cat Sith being witches that transformed into black cats and roamed about the town. If the Celtic people sent offerings out to them, the Malks would either leave them alone or they would bring them good fortune. And most of the more tame and docile Celtic tales say that Cat Sith offerings would be like saucers of milk outside their door and what have you, which is really nice. Other more aggressive ones would be burning hundreds of bodies of black cats, which I don't see how that would be a good offering for something you wanted to bring you good fortune. But, you know, yay. The second point I wanted to mention here is that Dresden drafts a pretend dating profile in his mind. He likes reading, staying home, going on long walks with his dog, and he's already my perfect match before adding in the wizardy bits. So there's that. Who doesn't love a man that loves reading, staying home, and walking his dog? That's amazing. On to the rest of the review. Uh, Harry returns to Chicago and consults Bob. Bob the Skull, if you guys don't remember, Bob is the air spirit that inhabits a skull who is filled with infinite knowledge of pretty much everything. To find out how to go about killing an immortal. Bob is initially reluctant to give out such dangerous information, but eventually tells Harry that immortals can be killed during certain conjunctions, such as on Earth on Halloween night, the day after tomorrow. Another detail omitted by the synopsis is the fact that immortals have to utilize Halloween night as a way to replenish their life force by taking others. So, in order for them to stay alive forever, they have to kill other people and take their life force. So it's like over the year you drink from a cup, and one day a year you pour someone else's pitcher into yours. So that's how immortals stay alive. Harry meets up with Molly, who informs him that energy is growing on Demon Reach and she thinks it might explode. He travels to the island, speaks to the spirit of Demon Reach, learning that the island is a prison which was created by Merlin himself to contain a massive number of various unspeakable supernatural horrors. Because of his connection to the island, he is now the prison's de facto warden. The island is under attack, and if the attack is not stopped, the prison's failsafe will trigger, releasing enough magical energy to destroy the prison as well as level a significant portion of the Midwest. In trying to figure out how to proceed, Harry consults with many magical powers, including Dunar Vatarung, Lily, Titania, the Fairy Mothers, and Rashid. Uh, I want everyone to be aware that Dunar Vatarung is an alias for Odin, which will come into play either momentarily or at a later point. Lily is the Summer Lady, Titania is the Summer Queen, and the Fairy Mothers are basically the two sides of Gaia, if you even have any idea what that means. Rashid is also he's a very powerful wizard on the White Council. Guys, would you like to go ahead and talk about Odin aliases now, or wait until a certain point at the end of my synopsis?
Uh, I'm good to wait until the end.
Same.
Mainly just because there's so many different ways we could roll this. I
Yeah.
think that'll be best.
All right. That sounds fine for me. All right. So Harry learns that outsiders are constantly attempting to. You're gonna have to push to talk. Constantly attempting to get past the outer gates, which are defended by the Winter Fae. He discovers that behind many challenges faced by Harry and by the world, he discovers that outsiders are behind his present troubles, and that an outsider infiltration named Nemesis has been behind many challenges faced by Harry and by the world in general for many years. He also figures out that the ritual that will be used to destroy Demon Reach will be performed at the island itself at some point in the near future. While preparing for the assault against the hundreds of outsiders attacking Demon Reach, Harry is chased and attacked by the Wild Hunt. This is like the fourth or fifth time we've encountered the Wild Hunt, and I absolutely love it every single time. Jim Butcher is fucking amazing, guys. With Karen Murphy's assistance, he is able to evade the hunt temporarily after shooting the Earl King. He takes command of the hunt and leads it against the outsiders. With the reinforcement of the hunt, Harry is able to disrupt the ritual and repel the outsider attack. Harry and his friends head for the top of the island where they find Lily and Maeve magically assaulting Demon Reach. Harry, having determined that Maeve has been corrupted by the Nemesis, attacks Maeve. She defeats him soundly but is rescued by his friends. Harry, out of options, summons Mab, who appears and confronts Maeve. By the way, guys, I can't hold in my laughter. The way he summons Mab is hilarious. He basically screams Mab, Mab, Mab. Uh, just making sure that I didn't accidentally summon her. May refuses to yield to her mother and shoots and kills Lily, resulting in the mantle of the Summer Lady passing to Sarissa, who is, it turns out, Maeve's sister. Murphy then shoots Maeve, resulting in the mantle of the Winter Lady, passing to Molly, who is Harry's apprentice. Harry decides to remain on the island for the time being so that he can learn more about it and establish a new base of operations, and takes a branch from its oldest oak tree to use in making a new staff. Oh my gosh, doesn't that sound amazing? That sounds amazing. I'm such a nerd. It's fine. All right, guys, so that's the end of the synopsis from I actually got that from Wikipedia. Most of my in-depth synopses comes from Wikipedia, and I like to throw in my tidbits. But I did want to mention before the guys get started, because I will not be able to interject once they get started. But I did want to say that the Wild Hunt, again mentioned in this book, for the first time in, I'm going to say, its entire history of the Wild Hunt, the Earl King offered yet again for Kris Kringle, aka Santa Claus, aka Father Winter, whatever you want to call him, a spot in his Wild Hunt. And for the very first time, Kris Kringle agreed. And it turns out, spoiler alert, that Kris Kringle is also Dunar Vadarong, who is also Odin. Have at it, boys.
Nick, or Thor, if you want to take lead on that.
All right. Yeah. No. So this has been news to me. Of course, this whole book series is fairly new to me as well. But of course, the ties between Odin and Santa are pretty vast. There's a lot of comparisons. A bunch that
Oh no, I've lost him. I
Yeah,
think,
that just cut out like mid sentence.
right? I think he unpushed the button.
I did unpush the button.
Oh,
Listen, I'm used to just talking. It's great.
go.
I keep forgetting that I have to hold
Well,
my button
you
down.
can now
It's
take it
good.
off if you like.
It's This is good. This is good.
Okay.
But no, just the idea that somebody tied Odin and Kris Kringle in together makes me incredibly happy. Now the other name that you mentioned, Donar,
Oh,
that is
Dunar
that
Vadarong.
is not one that I've been able to find as far as I think that's just within the Dresden Files.
It might have
Yeah, I'm
been
gonna
just
have to agree with
something
that
that
one.
Jim Butcher came up with himself, which is still cool.
Which, considering how many different names there are for the Allfather, that's well within his power and right to do so.
How many are there?
A lot.
uh,
Like,
More than I'd like to mention.
I'm looking at a list of about 70 right now.
Oh
So,
goodness. All right.
I think it's closer to like 200 once you roll in the fact that even just among Scandinavian cultures, you could call him by any of his relations. So if you wanted to call him
yeah,
the
right.
Boar, you
Enemy
could
of the
do that.
Wolf, Father of Balder, Battle Enhancer,
Yeah,
Chieftain, Brother of Vili. Like, he literally has a title for like every fucking aspect of his life.
I love it.
exactly. So there's so many different names, but the one particularly that makes me so happy is the Kris Kringle. Just tying him into winter and tying him into Christmas specifically. One there's tons of different ways where they're connected. Where the idea that Odin could be Father Christmas, that's certainly not new. The my favorite one that I've run across so far is, we call one of the many names for Santa is or Kris Kringle is Father Christmas, and the Allfather for Odin. But one of the other names for Odin was Yule Father, and with the pretty obvious ties between Yule and Christmas. Going from Yule Father to Father Christmas is not that big of a stretch.
Nope, nope. And I love this so much. I love that I'm a fucking huge nerd, and my best friends are even bigger nerds. Maybe not bigger.
I don't know. I found one fact here just a minute ago that's kind of left my brain in some mushy places.
Tell me.
Um, you know about Odin's horse, Sleipnir, right?
Yes.
Yep.
The eight-legged horse.
Yep.
Apparently, that's where they got the idea for the 8 reindeer. Was each leg of Odin's horse.
No shit.
I did not know that. Oh
I had no idea.
my god, you have now blown my mind. Holy crap. Ah. So, in case you guys didn't know, we celebrate a lot of, well, me and my family celebrate a lot of different holidays around this time. I actually had a discussion about this with my physical therapist, and last year was the first year I ever celebrated Mary Lloyd, so that was a lot of fun. Mary Lloyd is a Scandinavian, I believe, Scandinavian tradition where you take a horse skull, go around like your neighborhood, well, maybe not your neighborhood, but like a whole bunch of different places, and you knock on the door with your decorated horse head. You knock on their door or window and you start like shouting riddles at the people inside. And if the people can't guess the answer to your riddles, they have to give you alcohol. Well, we did that last year, basically a pub crawl, and it was awesome. It's so much fun. I was a very nice winter witch, so I enjoyed
I,
that.
I remember
Basically
seeing
like a medieval rap battle with the prize being
Kind of.
booze.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically what we did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Scandinavian.
Yeah. Why not? It's either Scandinavian or Celtic. I have no idea. It's one of those things. But we also celebrate
This year
Yule.
was yeah.
We
I was gonna
celebrate
say
Yule.
this year was the first year that we celebrated Krampus Day and
You
the
celebrated
Saint Nicholas
Krampus
Day feast.
Day?
Yeah, why not? I'm trying to teach the kids.
Love it. We also do Saturnalia. Um, most years we do Hanukkah, but that's usually the years that Simon comes to visit, and Simon hasn't come to visit in a few years, but I still keep the menorah for him. Today is day 5 or 6 of Hanukkah, so in case you needed to know that, there's that. Um, yeah, do you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about? I think this is a really great topic to have so close to Christmas. So,
This is fantastic.
mhm.
I'm diving so deep into this Odin is Santa. Can we call it a conspiracy theory? I don't feel like that's
I
a
don't
fair
think
thing.
It's
I
not
don't
a
think it's a
conspiracy.
yeah, correct my pronunciation if I get it wrong. But the poem Velspa and Skama, Freya specifically elaborates as Odin on Odin being a gift giver.
I have never read
Uh,
that poem, so news to me, and I can't correct you. Also, we know that my Danish is pretty good, but I can't I can't always say that my more Germanic languages are on par.
That that does sound. I mean, I'm no expert, but that sounds right to my ears. But I mean, we've Odin being a gift giver is pretty common throughout not just the actual mythos, but even in like the Marvel renditions. He might have some requirements for you to earn the thing, but he's always been pretty generous all in all.
I know it was a lot of the case of people being worthy. Sigmund, so the Sega of Volsung, um, where they go over like Sigurd the Volsung and kind of his like heroics and stuff like that. But his father was Sigmund, and Odin appeared to him on a battlefield and gave him a sword, which Sigurd would later use to kill the dragon Fafnir.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, he also gave Sigurd the offspring of his own horse, Sleipnir.
I remember that. Yeah. It's this is just fantastic for me. Just the other day I was having a conversation with some people about the Chronicles of Narnia, and when Santa shows up there and gives out gifts, and they were arguing that was such a weird part of the movie, because why would Santa give an 8-year-old a knife? And if you know anything about Santa
Oh
Claus,
my
or in
goodness.
this case, if you know anything about Odin, like, that's
Why
not
wouldn't he
weird.
give them a knife? Like, I think 6 is an
Hey, a knife
appropriate
is a very
age.
useful thing.
I think 6 is an appropriate age for a responsible child, but that's just me.
I agree. It's just, but tying this back into Santa was Odin. Yeah, no, handing out blades, handing out weaponry for those who seem to be worthy of wielding them. Like, that's totally within Odin's wheelhouse.
I'm so sorry. I just like recalled that you allowed me to help teach your 5-year-old some staff moves in September.
I do. I distinctly remember that, and she has yet to hit anybody when she didn't mean to. So it's something stuck.
Here's a fun fact.
Tell me the
According
fun
to
fact.
Freya, one of the gifts that Odin gave out was he gave the sea waves.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
Know that either. That's fantastic.
Ugh. Alright, guys. I'm gonna have to cut you guys off right now so we can get through the second book and all the cool stuff that comes into there. I don't know how much your Norse, I'm gonna say repertoire,
Oh, I could
not,
go on all day with
I
it.
know you can, but I don't know how much that's gonna play into the next book, but you guys are gonna geek out if you have not finished reading my script. It's gonna be great. Oh my god, it's great. I love it so much. And Nick, you have got to read these books. I'm telling
I'm ready for it. Yeah, I was already looking into it, but yeah, it's gonna have to happen now. Like, that's
you.
just all there is to it.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's move on, guys. We're gonna get into Skin Game number 15 of Jim Butcher's Dresden Files series. The very first detail that I want to mention here is that in the Dresden book, stasis is defined as nothing is going on. And the only reason I wanted to mention that is it's just a Destiny funny. So carry on with your life. Um, Harry Dresden, still living on the island of Demonreach, is unable to reach his allies and plagued by increasing headaches, and increasingly enough he has taken up parkour and takes to shouting it periodically throughout the book when he's doing asinine moves. Queen Mab demands he undertake a job, but in return offers her aid with his headaches. Harry is to help Nicodemus steal something from the vault of Hades. Wary of the potential for betrayal, he enlists the aid of Karen Murphy to watch his back. Karen Murphy being like a 5 foot nothing blonde woman with like keto mastery and many other um, martial arts. Yeah, she's up to the task. Harry and Karen meet Nicodemus and his crew, which includes Binder and a female warlock, Hannah Asher. As soon as Anna Valmont, the only surviving member of the group of thieves who had stolen the Shroud of Turin in death masks, Harry and Karen accompany Deirdre and the shape shifting Goodman Gray to collect a sample from an insider who is immediately killed when Tessa unexpectedly intervenes. Dresden learns that the heist's target is the Holy Grail. At the third meeting, they realize that they are being spied upon by Waldo Butters. For everyone who isn't aware, Waldo Butters is one of Harry Dresden's allies who is, performs the autopsies. Somebody, give me the word. Oh god. Not coroner? Is it the coroner?
Yes, it's coroner.
Okay,
Yes.
coroner. Oh.
I was gonna say,
Giving. Sorry. Alright. He's also a huge nerd, and we love him for it. Giving chase, Harry manages to keep up Binder's henchmen from catching him with the help of Bob. We mentioned before, Bob is the air spirit that lives in a skull. Nicodemus catches up with Dresden, Murphy, and Butters on the street in front of Michael Carpenter's house, and a fight ensues. Murphy draws Fidelocius. I hate saying that word. I know it's Latin, but I hate saying it. And is tricked into using the sword to attempt to kill Nicodemus while he is defenseless. which results in the sword shattering into shattering and Murphy being badly wounded. Phidolachius, as well as oh god, the other two. That's all I'm gonna say because I can't think of their names off the top of my head. And the other two swords of the cross are obviously swords of the cross and holy blades that are used to basically track down and destroy fallen angels. But if a fallen angel seeks redemption and truly, um, not it doesn't even have to be truly because Nicodemus tricked her, but if the sword is misused in any way, so like Karen knew Nicodemus was tricking her, but she attacked him and he was defenseless. So that was a misuse of the power of Phidolachius. So it shattered and nothing was left but the hilt. So it was really sad. Um, Michael then appears, offering to leave his angel protected house in exchange for the release of Harry. Michael Carpenter is Nicodemus's like number one, I want to kill you because you've like thwarted me at every turn. So Nicodemus was too tempted to pass up getting Michael off of the angel protected ground. Karen and Butters, uh, Nicodemus accepts the deal, but before Michael leaves, Uriel appears, giving Michael Amarachius. There we go. Amarachius. And his own grace. So Uriel no longer has his angel powers. He gave it all to Michael, which heals him because Michael was severely wounded a couple of books back, and that's when he retired from being a sword bearer. Nicodemus surrenders the fight and agrees to accept Michael as Harry's replacement for the wounded Murphy. That night, while recovering at the carpenter's house, Harry reconnects with his daughter, Maggie, for the first time since he saved her life at Chichen Itza. In the book changes. Two details here. One, the group ceases to mention Hades' name. They discussed in their first meeting of all of the thieves that they were going to infiltrate Hades' vault and steal something. They didn't really mention it. Harry finds out it's the Holy Grail. Whatever. But here, the group ceases to say Hades' name from that moment on, as ancient beings are paged when their names are used. Another example of this type of, I don't know what you even want to call it, but what they basically said were ancient beings such as Hades, Zeus, those are the Greek gods, but going on, like even with Odin, I'm certain, even in more contemporary Christianity, God, saying God's name, would bring attention to the person uttering the name. So, other examples of this idea in this page of a powerful being knowing when their name is being mentioned is in previous books the Nagloshi. Um, the I want to say, oh my god, I cannot recall which Native American culture it was that the Nagloshi comes from, and I'm really sorry for that. I will figure that out for you guys. But I believe it was Navajo. I want to say it was Navajo. Anyway, so
Yeah, it was a Navajo.
Jesus, you scared me. um, so mentioning the Nagloshi's name, uh, the Navajo never did. They feared that it would increase the power of the Nagloshi, which is a demonic spirit that plagued not just the Navajo culture, but that is where that name comes from, is the Navajo culture. But additionally, in Harry Potter world, Voldemort placed a taboo, which is a very powerful jinx, on his name to find the people that opposed him, because no one that truly feared or respected him would use his name. And yeah, that was an interesting factoid that I thought you guys should know.
I
As
think that's fantastic.
Jesus, you guys just appear out of nowhere. I'm gonna have like a cardiac event. Okay. As the heist begins, the group breaks into a high security vault owned by John Marcone, who is the leader of the biggest crime syndicate in Chicago, where Dresden opens a way to the true vault in the Never Never. If you guys do not recall, I'm sure I've mentioned it in episodes past, but to get into the Never Never, which is the fairy plane, uh, it's it's easy really. You can open up a way. The thing is, whenever you open up a way, wherever you are will reflect where you're going in the Never Never. So if you're in a safe place here in the mortal realm and you open up a way, you'll be in a relatively safe place in the fairy realm. I say relatively because nothing in Fae is safe, just like nothing is. So, um, the reason they had to infiltrate John Marcone's vault was because it was the highest security vault, one, that they had access to, but two, um, they're trying to break into the highest security vault in the Never Never. So, had to be there. And they had to break in instead of asking Marcone because they could have asked him if they really wanted to, if they had given him a cut. But they wouldn't have gotten into Hades' vault if they had asked. Alright, so Asher and Dresden open the gates of fire and ice, respectively, leading the group to the gate of blood, where Deirdre willingly allows Nicodemus to sacrifice her to gain access to the vault. Dresden and Valmont manage to find an altar containing several powerful religious artifacts, including the Grail. At which point, Hades stops time to talk to Dresden. During their conversation, Hades offers Harry guest right. This is another factoid I thought you guys should know. An ancient tradition that can be observed in many literary examples. A contemporary and popular example would be Game of Thrones and the Red Wedding. Uh, if you guys didn't know, which I can't imagine that you don't know, in Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding, what is his name? Guys, I need you to interject here. Filch's name in Game of Thrones.
Oh, uh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, and blanking. Hang on.
Why am I blanking on this so hard? Ah, why is this? Oh no, guys. I like am blanking super hard on this. Holy crap. This is bad. This is so bad. It's probably something awful too. I mean, Argus Filch is not a good name. He's a funny actor. I enjoy watching his works, but damn, I am blanking on his name super hard. Something to do with water. I'm almost certain of it.
Is it
I'm sorry. Who's this?
Um,
or is it the phrase?
what did you say? Nick, you're breaking up. I couldn't hear what you said, so.
I'm looking it up. I don't remember if it was House Frey or House Tully.
It was Frey. Walder
Yeah,
Frey.
it
There
was
we
the
go.
phrase that had the
Yes.
points.
So Walder Frey hosted all of the Starks and their men. Um, in the books, his mother, not Frey's mother, but oh good God, why am I blanking on everyone's name? The cute one. That's all I got for you guys. The cute one. The cute Stark. His mother advises him.
Jon Snow.
No, he's not the cute one. He's the
Rob
brutal
Stark.
one. Thank you, Rob Stark. he
Young Wolf.
yes, that one. His mother like makes him take food and drink from Walder Frey because when you do that, you enact guest right. And your host has certain responsibilities to take care of you and make sure that no harm comes to you. And of course, in the Red Wedding, spoiler alert, everybody dies. He kills them all. So he violates his host right. And yeah, bad things happen when that happens. As such as he got his throat slit and all of his family was murdered. Anyway, so also during this conversation, Hades introduced Dresden to his dog Cerberus. Does anyone here? Hopefully you did not read this part. Does anyone know here what Cerberus means?
I did know beforehand, but
You
I'll let
did?
you hear.
I yeah, I do know, but I don't know if you're asking them or us.
Well, I'm asking you guys, but I did not know if you guys knew this because I didn't know. When I read this part of the book, I was laughing for a good 5 minutes straight. So,
Yeah,
for those of
Hades
you
is
that
not a very original puppy owner
no,
namer.
no, Hades is the best. Are you guys ready for this? Hades named his dog Cerberus, obviously, right? Three-headed dog. We know this. Cerberus means spotted. Hades named his dog Spot. Hades has like the oldest dad joke in the fucking world.
You know, my favorite part of this is like
Oh
most of the time when you see a depiction of Cerberus, you see like a mastiff, you know, some like large muscular breed. I much prefer thinking of him as like a Dalmatian.
my
I was gonna say, yeah, that bitch has a Dalmatian.
god. His name's Spot. I'm
Uh,
sorry, guys. I'm such a fucking nerd when it comes to dad jokes. Oh, okay. We're
to
gonna
make it a little
continue.
bit better for you,
Oh.
there's a game that I've been playing off and on called Hades, and it's a beautiful game. I won't get into all that, but in that storyline, it suggests that Hades' wife Persephone is actually the one that got the dog, but then Hades is still the one that named it, and that for some
Oh.
reason it just makes it better because the dog wasn't his idea, but the name was.
Oh. Cerberus, your name is Spot. Oh god. Continuing on, Hades informs him that the vault is actually an armory. Its purpose is to hold powerful artifacts and weapons until those with the knowledge and power to use them can claim them. Armed with this knowledge, Dresden hides three artifacts in Valmont's bag and one in his sleeve before Nicodemus and the others arrive to claim the Grail. Nicodemus takes the Grail and turns on Harry and Michael after Harry makes a last appeal to Nicodemus's humanity, which doesn't exist. As Belmont is gone back to the vault's entrance, Hannah Asher and oh Jesus, I hate saying this. Genosqua. Genosqua. I'm gonna say Genosqua. An aggressive Bigfoot are revealed to be. Jesus, I know how to say that word too. To be the new hosts for Lashiel and Ursiel, respectively, and Nicodemus orders them and Goodman Gray to attack. It is then revealed through a flashback that Harry has earlier hired Gray to back him up in anticipation of this fight. Gray takes on the Genesqua, Ursiel, while Dresden fights Asher, who is hosting Lashiel. And as we know, Lashiel used to try and host Dresden, but he refused to take up the coin. And Michael fights Nicodemus. After Dresden manages to bury Asher in a rockfall and Michael sends Nicodemus running, Gray blinds the Genesqua, allowing the three of them to escape. On the way out, Dresden activates the Gate of Ice to crush the pursuing Genosqua. Rude. So rude. Mean. Dresden opens a way, and the four of them depart to the Never Never. But before they can close the way, Nicodemus escapes and heads for Michael's house. With Binder's help, Harry and his team get out of Marcone's vault. Harry and Gray then leave to confront Nicodemus at Michael's home. During the final fight, Butters takes up the broken Fidelocius, which emits a lightsaber style blade, and chases off Nicodemus again. He agrees to become a Knight of the Cross. I want you guys to know that Waldo Butters is shorter than I am, a little bit plumper, and basically a balding nerd who his favorite pastime is listening to oompa music. Honestly, that's his favorite thing. That's one of the things that Harry used to get him to, you know, find his courage within himself. So this nerd, who I love very much, I love him to death. He's fantastic. Takes up as a Knight of the Cross the broken blade of Fidelocius, and it becomes a lightsaber because all it was the hilt, and now he has a lightsaber. It's the fucking coolest thing. I'm sorry, I'm such a nerd. Actually, I'm not sorry, I'm a nerd. Sorry, not sorry, I'm a nerd, and it's the funniest thing. Ugh. Anyway, afterwards, the group divide up the backpacks full of diamonds Valmont stole from Hades' vault. Gray turns down a share of them, instead accepting $1 from Harry as a fee, and Harry uses that share as a weregild to pay for the death of Marcone's vault guard. Oops. He then visits Karen in the hospital, and the two share a passionate kiss and agree to try an actual relationship. Talking with Michael that evening, Harry reflects over the events of the past few days, and together they worry about a few things, including Harry's future as the Winter Knight. Ooh, is that not the greatest thing? Alright, so that's basically the end of the reviews. We are going to have a little bit more of a discussion, but for my editor's sake, we're going to say this is the end here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.